Look, let's just be honest with each other. This season has been pretty weak. I mean, frickin' Isekai Quartet is looking to be one of the most popular shows of the season, and if that doesn't make you depressed, I don't know what will. Most of the shows this season are either extremely underrepresented or just disappointing. But then there is Demon Slayer. This show was actually one of the anime I was extremely nervous about because Studio Ufotable does this thing where they either really don't care about the anime and it heavily shows in their art style, or they actually take some time with it and accidentally create a franchise so popular that A1 Pictures had to buy it out to continue milking it. Luckily for us, Demon Slayer looks to be the latter, with some gorgeous animation, a fantastic story, and even some impressive stylization. I'm Manime Matt, and this is why you need to watch Demon Slayer. So, a quick synopsis of Demon Slayer first. Tanjiro is just your average run-of-the-mill kid with a nice, happy family who live in a secluded spot on top of a mountain where nothing bad will ever happen to them. Yeah, so they all got murdered by a demon. The show follows Tanjiro, who was out in the village at the time, and his sister Nezuko, who was turned into a demon herself. Basically, their quest is to get Nezuko turned back into a human. So it's honestly no surprise, but the show's story isn't exactly innovative. When it came to that quote-unquote spoiler with Tanjiro's family getting killed off, it was actually comical how obvious they made it. This is something that usually turns me off from these kinds of shows, but luckily enough, Demon Slayer actually leans into this kind of storytelling, understanding the tropes of the genre and deciding to just go down that classical historical shonen route, and honestly, so far it's worked wonders. I often find myself predicting specific events in the show, but when they actually happen, they still feel powerful. The obviousness of the story doesn't actually take away from any of the reveals. The best example being the two kids who help him in the forest. Despite the reveal being relatively obvious, when the scene occurred, it still felt very powerful. Sorry for my vagueness, but that point really is leading into spoiler territory. I also just need to talk about the animation. Once again, this is Ufotable we're talking about here, but even then, they've really outdone themselves. The massive, sweeping cameras really portray this sense of scale, and the integration of CG into this show is just gorgeous. I actually already gushed about it in my CG and anime video. This show is honestly the first anime to ever really integrate organic CG objects into the scene without it being painfully obvious. The fight scenes are also incredibly well constructed. Each encounter is not simply overpower your opponent, but outsmart them and use your surroundings. A lot of the fights are clever and use a dynamic background in the fight. The easiest example of this is Tanjiro's first fight with the Demon Slayer. He uses the trees to obscure his movements to get an edge on an opponent who is significantly stronger. It's just a clever way to make the fights much more original and fun to watch. Leading me to possibly my favorite part of the show, the stylization of the art. Once again, the stylization of the art is gorgeous. It really feels like we are watching a classical Japanese painting rather than something from a manga. From the character's unique eyes to his fighting techniques, it just looks incredible. They look so different from anything being made today, which is honestly impressive considering how stagnant the stylization of anime has gotten these past few years. This also plays a role in how the show portrays its story. In a way, it kind of cleverly keeps us in tune with the time period in which the story is taking place. This all comes together quite seamlessly. This show is absolutely the standout anime of this season. Its story is compelling despite how predictable it can be at times. The animation quality is extremely impressive, even when not considering its innovative use of CG. And even the stylization to make it look more reminiscent of a classical Japanese painting just puts it leagues above anything else coming out this season. Once more, it's also getting quite a bit of recognition despite it competing against some of the most massive names in anime like One Punch Man and Attack on Titan. And I think, honestly, just that alone is why you need to watch Demon Slayer. Thank you guys for watching, and just a quick heads up before you click off. I've been told by a lot of people that my videos haven't been showing up in their feeds lately. I really hate being that guy, but if you do want to keep up with my content, the best way to do so is to click that bell. I promise I don't spam, I only upload once a week, so you won't get like an obscene amount of alerts from me. Also, if you're new, feel free to subscribe. I upload weekly on this channel. A huge thank you to my patrons, you guys are my heroes. Speaking of which, if you're interested in seeing how I edit, joining our exclusive Discord, or simply supporting the channel, feel free to join me on Patreon. Make sure you guys share, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Manime Matt. Make sure you guys say man and go watch that goddamned anime!